Harley riders know this secret. Modern bikes may be polished, but 90s Harleys still hit harder. These 15 machines weren't built for comfort, they were built to dominate. Fewer electronics, more attitude, and torque that still scares plastic fairings today. If you think old means slow, think again, because the last bike on this list still humiliates anything in its class. Number 15. Harley-Davidson Sportster 883 Hugger. Some motorcycles don't just start, they awaken something in you. The Hugger answered that call with stripped-down honesty and an unmistakable pulse that still makes modern machines feel more like appliances than motorcycles. It represented the spirit of the working rider, simple, durable, and full of heart. This machine was built for those who valued connection over convenience. Every piece of it felt mechanical, direct, and purposeful. There were no screens to stare at, no distractions between the rider and the road, just the steady rhythm of an American V-twin doing what it was meant to do. It asked for a firm hand, rewarded patience, and forgave rough roads with timeless grace. The Hugger carried the same proud stance that made Harley-Davidson a household name, only smaller, lighter, and more approachable. It became the bridge for countless riders stepping into the Harley family for the first time. Loyal owners still say it feels more alive than many new machines built 30 years later. The Hugger's 883 cubic centimeter Evolution engine produced around 50 horsepower and 50 pound-feet of torque, raw energy that felt bigger than the numbers suggested. Decades on, its presence remains undeniable. The Hugger doesn't shout for attention or chase trends. It stands as a tribute to simpler engineering and honest craftsmanship. It reminds riders that freedom doesn't come from horsepower or gadgets. It comes from the moment the engine rumbles to life and the road opens wide ahead. Number 14. Harley-Davidson Sportster 1200. Every generation of riders has one machine that feels like a rite of passage. The 1200 carried the spirit of the open road without apology. It was the kind of motorcycle that didn't ask permission, it demanded pavement. For many, this was the moment when Harley's smaller frame met true highway authority. This motorcycle spoke directly to riders who wanted power without pretense. Every turn of the throttle felt deliberate, every vibration a reminder that riding is supposed to be personal. It didn't hide behind technology or polish itself for comfort. Instead, it celebrated raw energy, turning every straight stretch into a declaration of independence. The 1200 was never built for luxury. It was built to be ridden, to echo through quiet towns and wide valleys with the unmistakable voice of a V-twin that meant business. It rewarded those who respected it and punished those who forgot that a Harley is a living thing, not a gadget. The 1200 cubic centimeter Evolution engine delivered around 60 horsepower and 70 pound-feet of torque, pure mechanical strength that gave this Sportster a confident growl at every gear. From raw simplicity to refined muscle, Harley's next creation proved that attitude could wear a sharper edge without losing its soul. If you've ever ridden one of these classics, you know the feeling can't be replicated. That rumble, that raw connection. It's something modern bikes just can't fake. Drop a comment below and tell us which Harley from the 90s still owns your heart. And hey, hit that like button for American Steel. Number 13, Harley-Davidson Sportster 1200S Sport. There was a time when Harley set out to prove that power and precision could share the same heartbeat. This motorcycle was born from a time when Harley began proving that raw torque and sharp handling could live in the same frame. It was the rider's motorcycle, built for those who preferred taking the long way home, carving every curve, and feeling every pulse of the pavement beneath them. The 1200S carried a deeper purpose than just being another sportier model. It was designed for riders who wanted to command their machines rather than simply sit on them. Every turn felt deliberate, every sound echoed confidence, and every mile reminded you that control was part of the thrill. It didn't chase speed for its own sake. It pursued mastery, the kind that rewards focus and respect for the road. The balance of aggression and composure made this motorcycle unforgettable. It could charge through a mountain pass with precision yet settle into a calm rhythm on the highway. Few bikes in Harley's history captured such a blend of responsiveness and grit. The 1,200 cubic centimeter Evolution V-twin delivered roughly 65 horsepower and 72 pound-feet of torque, giving the 1200S a sharper edge than its stablemates and a throttle response that felt instant and alive. If the 1200S was about control and precision, the next legend showed how to channel that same spirit into pure, unfiltered freedom. Riders, look out for riders. The gear and accessories I trust are down in the description. Grab what you need, then back to it. Number 12. Harley-Davidson Dyna Super Glide. Among the machines that defined the working-class spirit of the open road, few carried as much quiet pride as this one. Riders who wanted the strength of a big twin without the heft of a full dresser found their match here. The Super Glide embodied the working rider's vision: powerful, steady, and stripped of everything unnecessary. It was built for men who believed that the ride itself was the luxury. The Super Glide earned a reputation for balance and integrity. It could roar through small towns 1 minute and glide calmly across long highways the next. Its design carried a rare mix of muscle and civility, creating a motorcycle that respected the rider's control while still delivering the signature Harley pulse. There was nothing complicated about it, just a clean frame, a dependable motor, and the unmistakable rhythm of American steel at work. This motorcycle became the everyday legend of its era. It wasn't a showpiece or a status symbol, it was a loyal companion. Riders trusted it through seasons, miles, and weather because it never pretended to be anything other than honest. The engine was 1,337 cubic centimeters, producing around 67 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque, numbers that gave the Super Glide both presence and endurance. It wasn't about chasing speed, it was about harnessing strength that never quit. Harley's next step wasn't about louder or flashier, it was about building something honest, balanced, and born to be trusted mile after mile. Number 11. Harley-Davidson Dyna Lowrider. Freedom has many shapes, but in the 90s it sat low, rumbled deep, and spoke softly through pure confidence. It was designed for riders who wanted the unmistakable power of a big twin, but with a stance and feel that made every mile personal. The lowrider didn't shout. It spoke with confidence, a bike built for men who worked hard all week and rode harder on the weekend. What set the lowrider apart was its perfect balance of attitude and practicality. It carried the soul of a heavyweight Harley, but handled like something far more nimble. The lowered stance and easy reach gave riders a natural command of the machine, making it just as comfortable on long highways as it was cutting through back roads. Every ride felt deliberate, strong, steady, and grounded in purpose. The lowrider earned loyalty because it never tried to be more than it was. It didn't need extra chrome or fancy gadgets to make an impression. Its strength came from simplicity, and its character from years of dependable service. The sound, the feel, and the posture all came together to form an identity that thousands of riders still remember vividly. The engine displaced 1,344 cubic centimeters, delivering around 68 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque. That combination gave the lowrider its unmistakable surge of power, the kind that could roll smooth or hit hard depending on how you twisted the throttle. Just when riders thought Harley had perfected balance, another model arrived that proved freedom could stretch even wider and ride even smoother. Number 10. Harley-Davidson Dyna Wide Glide. Custom culture met factory steel in one perfect storm of attitude and control. This motorcycle carried the DNA of the chopper era but wrapped it in reliability that could handle everyday miles. It was for riders who wanted that stretched-out look without sacrificing real-world comfort or control. The Wide Glide was confidence on two wheels, rebellious in stance but grounded in purpose. The Wide Glide stood apart because it didn't rely on flash or extravagance to make an impression. Its long front end and low-slung design gave it a distinct posture that felt powerful even at a standstill. Every line and curve was deliberate, evoking the freedom of the open highway and the defiant energy that defined Harley's legacy. This was a motorcycle built for riders who preferred independence over conformity, experience over display. On the road, the Wide Glide carried a rhythm that was unmistakably Harley. It delivered strength in every gear and balance in every curve, creating a ride that felt personal, confident, and timeless. The bond between man and machine was simple: mutual respect and trust forged through miles, not marketing. The Wide Glide was powered by a 1,344 cubic centimeter V-twin, producing around 65 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque. That pairing gave it the unmistakable pull Harley riders love: steady, deep, and full of character at every twist of the throttle. Where the Wide Glide brought a chopper's attitude to the streets, the next machine turned adaptability itself into an art form. Number 9. Harley-Davidson Dyna Convertible. Some motorcycles are built for the city, others for the long haul. This one refused to choose. It was the freedom to cruise stripped down through town on Friday night and then load up for a cross-country trip by Saturday morning. Harley built it for those who lived by the road but didn't want to choose between comfort and style. The convertible became a symbol of versatility, a reminder that practicality and personality could share the same frame. What made the convertible special was its ability to adapt. With a few quick changes, it could go from a lean street cruiser to a full-fledged tourer ready for the long haul. That flexibility captured the essence of what riding was supposed to be: freedom, choice, and control. Riders loved that it could match their mood, their destination, and their pace without compromise. Every detail reflected Harley's focus on the rider. The seating position felt natural, the design straightforward, and the handling smooth enough for long miles yet lively enough for city riding. The convertible carried the Dyna soul with a touch of touring comfort, creating something uniquely balanced. The Dyna convertible housed a 1,344 cubic centimeter V-twin engine that produced about 55 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque. It offered smooth, usable strength that made switching from weekend cruiser to long-distance traveler feel effortless. Harley's next creation carried that same spirit of versatility, but added something no other could match: precision, purpose, and legendary handling. Number 8. Harley-Davidson FXR Superglide. Every rider remembers the first time a Harley handled better than they thought possible. It wasn't about flash or fashion, it was about balance, performance, and precision. The FXR was born from Harley's desire to prove that a heavyweight cruiser could handle with the control and confidence of a sport machine, and riders quickly discovered that this one truly could. It was the bike that turned skeptics into believers. The FXR earned its reputation not through hype, but through experience. Riders felt an immediate connection the moment the tires met the pavement. Every curve, every straightaway, and every stretch of highway revealed just how much thought went into its design. It handled with a poise that few Harleys before or since could match. The frame felt solid, the feedback pure, and the sensation of control unmatched in its era. More than a machine, the FXR became a rider's companion: loyal, responsive, and unshakably confident. It was a motorcycle that rewarded skill and respect, delivering performance that felt both disciplined and soulful. Those who owned one often refused to let it go, calling it the most honest Harley ever built. The FXR packed a 1,340 cubic centimeter V-twin engine producing around 70 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque. That power, combined with its legendary chassis, gave it a responsiveness that felt decades ahead of its time. For those who thought performance couldn't coexist with heritage, Harley answered with a masterpiece that blended classic soul and unmistakable style. If these timeless Harleys are stirring up memories, or maybe a little envy, don't let the ride stop here. Hit subscribe and join a community that keeps the real spirit of motorcycling alive. We've got more legends, more stories, and more chrome on the way. Stay tuned, rider, your next favorite awaits. Number 7. Harley-Davidson Softail Springer. Nothing commands attention like a motorcycle that wears its history in plain sight. In the 1990s, it became a bridge between past and present, a motorcycle that brought Harley's earliest styling cues into a modern era of performance and reliability. For riders who craved nostalgia without compromise, the Springer offered everything they hoped for and more. It was living history with modern muscle beneath the frame. What made the Springer truly special was its personality. The exposed Springer front end wasn't just a design choice, it was a declaration of heritage. It carried the DNA of Harley's earliest bikes, where every visible spring, bolt, and curve served both function and art. The combination of classic structure and modern engineering gave the Springer an unmistakable identity, part showpiece, part workhorse, and all attitude. Every ride on the Springer felt like stepping into a different time, when motorcycles were more about connection than convenience. The feel of the open bars, the look of the front suspension flexing over bumps, and the sound of the motor turning steady beneath you created an experience that was pure and honest. The Springer was powered by a 1,344 cubic centimeter V-twin that produced roughly 65 horsepower and 75 pound-feet of torque. It wasn't just about numbers, it was about the steady, deliberate pull of old-school muscle meeting refined mechanics. Even now, the Springer remains one of the most admired designs in Harley's history. It stands as a reminder that innovation doesn't always mean change. Sometimes it means preserving what was already perfect and keeping that spirit alive for every new generation of riders. Number 6. Harley-Davidson Softail Bad Boy. In an era chasing chrome and flash, one machine rolled in wearing black and owned the spotlight anyway. It wasn't designed to blend in, it was built to stand apart. The Bad Boy looked like it had rolled straight out of a custom shop, wearing blacked-out parts, a Springer front end, and just enough chrome to remind everyone it was still a Harley at heart. This was the motorcycle for riders who believed in making an entrance every single time they hit the ignition. What made the Bad Boy unforgettable wasn't just its look, it was its spirit. This machine carried itself with the kind of confidence that couldn't be faked. It was all muscle and purpose, stripped of excess, built to ride hard and turn heads doing it. The combination of sleek darkness and subtle shine gave it a dual personality, part outlaw, part gentleman. Riders who owned one didn't talk about it much. They didn't need to. The sound, the stance, and the presence did all the talking. Every inch of the Bad Boy reflected Harley's understanding of individuality. It wasn't about chasing trends. It was about setting them. The design honored tradition while pushing boundaries, making it a standout among Softails. The Bad Boy featured a 1,344 cubic centimeter V-twin engine, producing about 70 horsepower and 75 pound-feet of torque. Its power delivery was smooth but commanding, enough to make its dark silhouette feel alive under every twist of the throttle. From attitude to elegance, the next motorcycle showed that true Harley spirit isn't just about rebellion, it's about respect for the road that made it. Number 5. Harley-Davidson Heritage Softail Classic. The Heritage Softail Classic captured what every rider imagined when they thought of a Harley. Chrome shining under the sun, leather bags hanging from the sides, and that deep, unmistakable rumble echoing down the highway. Introduced in the 1990s, it wasn't just a motorcycle. It was a rolling piece of American history. The Heritage spoke to riders who wanted comfort, endurance, and style wrapped into one timeless machine. What made the Heritage so special was its seamless blend of nostalgia and practicality. It carried the look and soul of a post-war cruiser, but delivered a smooth, dependable ride that could conquer miles without complaint. Every detail felt intentional. The sweeping fenders, the stitched saddle, the sturdy stance. It gave riders the sense that they weren't just traveling through space, but through time, experiencing a lineage that stretched back to Harley's earliest days. The Heritage became a favorite among long-distance riders because it felt alive on the open road, yet refined enough for city cruising. It represented balance, the meeting point between comfort and toughness, between beauty and grit. This was the motorcycle for those who didn't just want to ride, but to live the road in full measure. The Heritage was powered by a 1,344 cubic centimeter V-twin that produced around 60 horsepower and 75 pound-feet of torque. It wasn't about speed. It was about enduring strength and the steady pull that made long rides feel effortless and unforgettable. Where the Heritage celebrated nostalgia, the next machine became pure dominance. Muscle, metal, and legacy forged into one unmistakable icon. Number 4, Harley-Davidson Fat Boy. Every so often a motorcycle arrives that changes what power looks like standing still. This was the motorcycle that made the world stop and stare. Its broad stance, solid disc wheels, and unmistakable silhouette gave it an identity no rider could mistake. The Fat Boy wasn't just a machine, it was a presence. It told the world that Harley could build something bold, muscular, and unmistakably American without apology. What made the Fat Boy legendary was how it carried power with poise. It had a commanding look that spoke before the engine ever started, a quiet confidence that didn't need flash or excess. Every inch of the design told a story. The wide forks, the thick frame, the stance that made it feel immovable even at rest. This was a motorcycle built not just to ride, but to be remembered. The Fat Boy also became a symbol of freedom and strength, immortalized by riders who saw in it the perfect mix of might and grace. It was more than a bike. It was a statement of identity for those who believed that steel and thunder could speak louder than words. The Fat Boy was driven by a 1,338 cubic centimeter V-twin producing about 60 horsepower and 75 pound-feet of torque. Its deep torque curve and smooth pull gave it that signature Harley authority, the kind that could move mountains without ever breaking a sweat. After redefining power and design, Harley turned its focus toward distance, and the next creation became the very definition of endurance. Number 3. Harley-Davidson Electra Glide Ultra Classic. For riders who measure time not in hours but in miles, this machine became the ultimate companion. When it rolled into the 1990s, it wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a traveling machine built for riders who believed the road should be measured in states, not miles. It carried a presence that said you weren't simply riding, you were arriving. Every curve and contour of the Ultra Classic spoke to Harley's deep understanding of endurance and elegance. This motorcycle wasn't made for quick rides or casual weekends. It was built for journeys that tested patience, grit, and passion. With its wide saddle and unmistakable silhouette, it became the definition of comfort meeting character. You didn't just sit on it, you became part of it. The Ultra Classic was powered by a 1,340 cubic centimeter V-twin that produced around 60 horsepower and 70 pound-feet of torque, giving it the steady confidence needed for coast-to-coast travel. That smooth surge of torque defined every mile, carrying riders forward with the kind of authority only Harley could deliver. The next legend didn't just cross state lines, it ruled them, introducing a new chapter in Harley's pursuit of the perfect touring machine. Number 2. Harley-Davidson Road Glide. There are motorcycles made to move, and then there are machines built to rule the horizon. Harley took everything riders loved about long-distance travel and gave it a bold new identity. The fixed fairing, shark-nosed design, and aggressive stance weren't just about looks. They were about control, confidence, and endurance. The Road Glide was built to carve through wind and distance with a steady hand and an unshakable soul. From the first ride, the Road Glide earned its reputation as the king of the highway. It moved with purpose, stable, commanding, and smooth no matter how far the journey stretched. It gave riders something few motorcycles ever could: peace at speed, the feeling of endless road ahead, the hum of the engine beneath you, and the sense that this machine was made to carry you wherever your story led. The Road Glide featured a 1,344 cubic centimeter V-twin producing around 62 horsepower and 75 pound-feet of torque, giving it the muscle to cruise for days without breaking stride. Its power delivery was confident and refined, the kind that made even the longest rides feel effortless. From precision to power, Harley's final contender carried the torch of true authority, a machine built not to follow, but to lead the open road. Number 1. Harley-Davidson Road King. When the dust settles and the engines fade, one name still echoes across every stretch of open highway. When it arrived in the 1990s, it didn't chase technology or fashion. It carried something far more enduring: authority. The Road King was built for riders who understood that the highway isn't something you rush through, it's something you own. Every curve of its design reflected that belief. What made the Road King legendary was its purity. It stripped away distractions and left only what mattered: power, presence, and purpose. Its tall, confident stance and unmistakable silhouette gave it a timeless look that commanded attention without ever trying. The low rumble beneath the rider, the wind cutting clean across the bars, and the sense of endless road ahead created an experience that was as meditative as it was powerful. For many, the Road King became the definition of freedom on two wheels. It was steady, reliable, and proud. A motorcycle that didn't just take you places, but transformed every journey into something unforgettable. It wasn't about racing the clock or showing off. It was about the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're riding a machine built to last. The Road King carried a 1,344 cubic centimeter V-twin, producing roughly 60 horsepower and 75 pound-feet of torque. That blend of torque and smooth delivery gave it the effortless strength to devour long miles while maintaining its unshakable poise mile after mile. Even decades later, the Road King remains a cornerstone of Harley's heritage. It stands as proof that strength, simplicity, and style never go out of fashion, especially when they're forged in the spirit of the open American road. You've just seen 15 Harleys that prove the 90s never died. It just keeps roaring down the highway. If one of these legends still sits in your garage, consider yourself part of history that modern bikes can't touch. Drop a comment and tell us which model still owns your heart. And if you love real American steel, hit subscribe. More forgotten beasts and hidden Harley stories are on the way.